Hi guys, and welcome back to today's video. I hope you guys are all doing great. If you are new here, hi, my name is Dana. I am a wife to Josh, and then I am also a homeschooling mama to a kindergartner, a preschooler, and then I also have a 1-year-old. She'll actually be 1 on Sunday, which is crazy. I think at the end of the first year, like whenever I get to my kiddos' first birthdays, it's always a roller coaster of emotions. It's one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe we made it through the first year of just like a baby, the newborn stage. And then on the flip side, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she's old. And then you're sad. And on the flip side, you're like, oh yes, praise the Lord. So it's like a roller coaster of emotions. The year flies by, especially when they're so little. And she's just now getting to the point where she's crawling and exploring. And I love that phase because it's so fun to see the little ones actually learn how to move around and become mobile because their whole world opens up. And so it's such a fun thing for me to like see them explore and to get into everything. And I don't know, I love that phase. But anyway, as you can tell from the title down below, I'm going to be sharing with you kind of how we created our family's rhythm, kind of the steps I took to create that rhythm, kind of writing it out, and then what that looks like now for our family. Yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, if you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and let's get into it. So the reason why our family kind of chose to do a more rhythmical style schedule in our home versus like the block schedule or the hour by hour type schedule is I found that for me it caused more stress in my life to try to stick to that hour by hour schedule, because even if I was 20 minutes off or 30 minutes off, I kind of felt a little bit like I was feeling already for the day. So when we got up and say I had breakfast at 7 and school started at 9 or whatever it was in between, and I would get off of that for any way, shape, or form, I always felt like I was failing already. The day hadn't even started, and it started off on a bad note and things like that. But I found when I implemented more of a rhythm in our home, and it was like the consistency, you know, same thing day in and day out as far as like what we did next and how we started our day, versus a strict hour by hour schedule, I found really a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom within being flexible. And so I wanted to share with you kind of how I created the rhythm, what it looks like for our family, like I said, and kind of my thought processes as I went and actually put it down on paper, so to speak. But yeah, so the first thing I did when it actually came to creating our family's rhythm was actually write out every single thing. I know it sounds excessive, but we actually wrote down a lot of what we did every single day for a whole week. And I was then able to see kind of what our rhythm already was during the day, kind of what was most important to us by seeing how the days flowed, what we did, how we did it, and things like that. And then the second thing I did was at the end of the week, I was able to take that whole master list of just kind of what our days looked like, and then I was actually able to come up with the common denominators and kind of like write down how our days kind of flowed, kind of find out what was most important for us based off of what we kind of did that week, and then write that down on paper. Next thing I did was kind of honestly try to follow the things that I actually wrote down as far as what I thought our rhythm would be. I tried to follow it pretty closely as far as, you know, what we're doing next, kind of the days flowing in, and then I was able to kind of tweak it based off of what I either thought wasn't working out for our family, what was maybe causing more stress to do next on top of the next, and things like that. And then I was able to really tweak it and honestly just really pay attention to the things that I wanted to change. And it was kind of funny because for that week that I was kind of like tweaking things and changing things, I realized that the order that I might have had our little rhythm going maybe was not working out for our family. An example of that would be, for instance, on my rough draft rhythm that I had created, I had set up to where we would do kind of breakfast first thing in the morning. You know, the kids would obviously get ready for the day, and then we would go into breakfast, and then after breakfast I would go into maybe cleaning up the kitchen, and then while the kids did some free play, and then we would start, you know, our either morning basket or school time and things like that. But what I found that did not work for our family is that, honestly, that whole like next step thing is what I found that works better is if we just go straight from just eating breakfast. While we're eating breakfast, I go through our read alouds and our morning time basket type things together, our little maybe simple activities while I'm reading the book. If the kids are finished breakfast, they can do Play-Doh or something while I'm still finishing like the read aloud and things like that. And then we just go straight, instead of me getting up and cleaning up and getting distracted with a million things, we just go straight into school. And that has actually worked really well for us because I found that whenever we finish school, I would allow myself, or I'm sorry, whenever we finish breakfast, I would allow myself time to get up and like clean up breakfast, do the dishes, but then I would remember, oh, I also have a little laundry to throw in, so I'll go do that. So it would be 45 minutes later sometimes before we would actually sit down and start school. And then by that time the kids' minds are already like off playing, and I don't like interrupting their free play, so to speak. So I found that when I just ignored the dishes for a while, which is really hard for me to do, but when I just ignored the dishes, just put them in the sink and moved kind of straight back into school right after breakfast was done, it really helped everyone stay on track. It helped me not get distracted by all the little chores, and then it also helped the kiddos too from going off and kind of doing their own thing, to actually just staying put, staying with me while we finish our lessons and everything, and then they are completely free the rest of the day to do whatever they want. It was always really hard to have that half an hour break while I did some chores and have them come back and still want to do it. I really found that it works well, like I said, when we just went straight from our morning basket activities to straight into our lessons for the day and then just be done. It ended up flowing well for our family, and it seems to be working well so far. But we're only a month in, so we'll see how it continues. I actually put together a little daily rhythm chart. It's this one right here. I actually just put this together on Canva. You can kind of edit it as you need to, figure out what works for your family and things that can change. As you can tell, our daily rhythm right now, which it could tweak and change, but right now our family's rhythm is really just breakfast, and then during breakfast I have our morning basket activities. And in the morning basket, I'll do our read alouds. We'll sometimes do a little nature activity, but just something fun while they're eating breakfast and things like that. And then we go straight, like I said, from the breakfast / morning basket, we just flow that straight into school lessons. So I just kind of clear off their breakfast dishes, we wipe down the table, and then we just kind of get our school books out and continue our morning. And then after the school lessons are done, the books are closed. That's normally when I like to just grab a cup of coffee, and then we do some little circle time activities. And what that is for us is I have a little board that I created. It has like the days of the week, you know, the months of the year, things like that. We'll sing some songs. We're memorizing a Bible verse right now, and then we're also working on memorizing like our phone numbers, our home address, and just important things I think little ones should know, as well as sometimes we'll do a puzzle together and just things that as collectively as a whole we can do together. So that comes directly after school. So the whole really morning from probably like, I don't think it's real, this phase right here is really not long because the kiddos' homework is only 20 minutes. Really, it's only 20 minutes for their sheet work. And so by the time we do this, it's only been like an hour and a half and something like that. And then after our little circle time fun, that is when they have free play, and then I start my chores. So typically, honestly, by around 10:30, they're normally ready for free play, and then that's when I go back and I clean up the breakfast dishes and make sure everything else is cleaned up. I can do laundry, you know, whatever needed, and I'll have about an hour before I start lunch. And then lunch, I just set aside for just eating lunch together. There's no activities planned, there's nothing, it's just us eating together. So that comes to like that noon, 1 o'clock hour. And then there's a set time where, it's not really a set time, but like after lunch, everything's cleaned up. We go into where I can get some work done, and that's when the kiddos love doing their arts and crafts in the afternoon. In the heat of a summer, like we are in now, it's supposed to be, I think the real feel is supposed to be like 102 today, so it's supposed to be pretty hot. So that's the afternoons where instead of maybe playing outside as much as they normally would, that's when they do the arts and crafts while I'm doing some work. And then really after work is maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And then we flow into more of just like a free time for the kiddos. So if they're not having like their arts and crafts, if they're not reading or doing quiet time and things like that, then they'll flow into just like free time together. And during the free time, that's when I normally like either fold the laundry that I put in the washer earlier, or do some more chores, figure out what we're gonna do for dinner and things like that. And then kind of like that late afternoon, early evening, we flow into that dinner and unplug time. Typically, we try our best to, after dinner, we have that hour and a half, 2 hours with the kiddos of not being plugged into technology. It's really hard to do sometimes, and sometimes we still fail at it. But we try to have that unplugged time in the evenings with the kiddos. We do like doing games together. My husband and my little guy, their favorite thing is mowing at night, so sometimes they will go mow while me and the girls hang out and stuff in here. So Ellie likes to say, be so excited when we have girl time while they're outside. So that's kind of what our dinner and like evening time routine is. And then after our evening winds down, it kind of just flows into bedtime routine. And that for us, our family, our bedtime routine kind of lasts about an hour, because by the time we get ready for bed, brush our teeth, take our bath, We always read stories every night with the kiddos. My husband puts the 2 older ones to bed, and they have their special like story time and book reading time and prayer time, and that's something that's so sweet, and I'm so thankful that he does that with them. He loves that, and they love that, so it's their special kind of bonding time is at night. So they do that bedtime routine. And then I just sit down here, rest, even though it's funny because, like, of course when you go to bed you rest, but for me there's something so, I don't know what to say, even refreshing honestly about just completely resting at night before I actually go to bed. So I'll have like an hour, like I'm not cleaning, I am not cooking, I am not doing laundry, I'm not doing any prep work, I'm just being me, you know, I'm just being being whatever, like being still, being at rest. And that can look like a lot of different things for me. But I went ahead and put that on our rhythm because I need to be reminded that it's okay to go ahead and just rest and not do anything, because that's really nice and it's refreshing. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy kind of seeing what our rhythm looks like and kind of why we've chosen to go more of a rhythm for our family. And the rhythm is honestly, after writing everything out that we did for that week, it's the same thing every day pretty much. It's not like an hour by hour stressed out, oh my goodness, we're not following the schedule. It's actually been a very beautiful, peaceful thing in our home when we have that rhythm on our table. And so the kiddos kind of know what's going to happen next, but it's not like, oh, it has to happen this time and this time. But they do know how the day is going to flow, and I let them know if we're leaving the house and things like that, and everything. But yeah, I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, I'd love to have you join our family, and you can do so by subscribing down below. And until our next video, you guys stay safe and God bless. Bye.